everyone, Jarrod here, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the retro video game console, or the Coleco Chameleon, as well as a little bit about the NG dev team's new arcade hardware. Now, to be very fair here, I don't have the details of everything. I'm going by what I've heard and just some of my overall impressions. So if you don't know, the retro video game console uses the Atari Jaguar shell. It's going to be a new console that uses cartridges. It runs, I believe it's like an Android operating system. And it really didn't do well on Indiegogo. They had an Indiegogo campaign, and the fact was they didn't show it working, they didn't show much, they didn't reveal much information. It's being spearheaded, I think his name's Mike Kennedy. He's the guy who's behind the Retro Video Game magazine, which I actually really enjoy. I think it's a good magazine. And so I did not follow along. I really didn't. I just know that the Indiegogo like crashed and burned primarily because of the fact that there just wasn't enough information about this particular platform. So Mike said, okay, you know, I'm going to go away. I'm gonna redesign a system, because I think it was going to be something like $300 or something like that, like to purchase, something like that. Again, don't quote me on any of this. I just know that it was going to be expensive. And so he said, okay, I'm gonna like, you know, pull down the Indiegogo campaign. I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, redesign the system so that it can be much more affordable. The thing is, what I've been thinking about over the last little while is, who is this aimed at? Because, of course, I mean, it's got an Atari Jaguar shell. It uses cartridges. It's directly aimed at the retro gamer. But the games, it's going to be primarily filled with mobile games that they're going to put on carts. It just doesn't make sense to me. Or even indie games at that point. Like, I just don't quite understand where this platform fits in the greater scheme of things. Anyways, what Mike did was he did that. He went away, and now he actually teamed up with Coleco, believe it or not. Now, Coleco is not the same company you think it is from, you know, the Coleco Vision. They basically just licensed the name. It's an entirely new entity that owns the license for Coleco. And anyways, so now it's called the Coleco Chameleon. Woo! But again, the same core problem I have with this is that it's supposed to be a retro console today. Okay, that could be interesting, I suppose, but I don't understand how this is going to work. You see, one of the main reasons why the retro scene is as big as it is today and as popular as it is today is because of nostalgia. There's a lot of nostalgia people have for these particular games, especially as they get older. It's why the Super Nintendo games are a fortune, Sega Saturn games are a fortune, everything is a fortune. Now, there is a market there, like the Dreamcast, for example. The Dreamcast is getting more new games released now than it has in what, maybe 8 years or something like that? Like, it's crazy. Last year, 2015, I think there were, let's see, I want to say, I think seven brand new releases. That's crazy! And those releases oftentimes were made specifically for the Dreamcast, nothing else. That's mind-blowing. Like, it's crazy. Now, not in all cases. In some cases, it would be on Dreamcast and a few other things, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But the point is that the Dreamcast is becoming a viable platform for a very small niche market, and that's cool. That's perfectly awesome, actually. The Neo Geo is another one. New Neo Geo games are getting released like at least one a year. That's crazy to think. I mean, my God, that platform is like, what, it came out in '90, I think it was, and it's now 2016. So 26 years that bloody platform has been going, and it's still going strong. Like, it's crazy. Again, for a small niche group of people. So my thing is like, where does the Chameleon fit in? Because there's no nostalgia, right? It's a new system. New games are going to be made for this thing. The thing is, are new games going to be made? Will people make 8-bit, 16-bit games exclusive for this platform and not just put them on Steam or elsewhere? And the answer to that is I don't know, and I don't see it. I just don't see like an indie developer saying like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna put my resources into this platform over, say, the Dreamcast. I know that sounds crazy, but you have to understand that the Dreamcast, as an example, it already has the installed user base. It already has the nostalgia, and it already has that niche market, just like the Neo Geo is the exact same thing. The people who, you know, every year new people get into the Neo Geo, new people get into arcades. So I get that. Like, I understand why someone would want to target that platform, as long as you have realistic expectations. Selling like a couple hundred copies or maybe even 100 copies of your game might be sufficient. That might be good enough. Good for you. Great. But I just don't see where the Chameleon fits in. I mean, if you're going to take an iPhone game or a mobile game and you're going to throw it on there, you're going to put it on cartridge, suddenly a $1 game is going to be what, 40 bucks, 30 bucks? That doesn't work, like, at all. So I understand that they've been talking a lot about like new 8, 16, and 32-bit games exclusively for the Chameleon. But, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Show me those games and we'll talk, because right now it seems like it's just vaporware. So the other thing that's happening this year, we have no information at the time of this recording anyway, because surprise, surprise, it's not even 2016 when I record this, but anyway, the NG dev team, the big boys behind 5, the 6th one's coming out, Neo Geo releases. Those include Last Hope, Pink Bullets, Fast Striker, Gunlord, Neo Zyxus, or XYX, Razian, and Krautbuster. That's the one we don't know if it's any good or not. It hasn't come out yet. Those guys have announced, they announced earlier in 2015, that they're going to be making brand new arcade hardware. Now, they said they want to follow or mimic what was done with the Neo Geo, in the sense of, if you have an arcade cabinet, you could just plunk in this new machine and you can play brand new arcade games with whatever the bells and whistles are of this new arcade hardware. Or you would have a home option where you could connect it to your TV and go that route. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be one and the same. I think it's going to be like an Atomis Wave or one of those type of arcade platforms, where it will be like just a small little box where, you know, it'll have holes where you could drill it down or put feet, arcade feet, so that you could put it in your connection, your arcade board. Probably have a JAMA connector harness built onto it, maybe with like a plastic cover or something like that, so that if you want to use it at home, you'll also have like HDMI out or whatever. So that's what I'm guessing. That's all speculation. The thing is, I think that has a greater chance of being more successful than the Coleco Chameleon, because it's targeting a very, very specific audience, the arcade peoples. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be specifically suited to people who already own arcades, or people like me who are big fans of arcades and are looking for new arcade experiences in the home. And we really don't know any information. I'll be doing videos as more information is revealed. But it's funny how I have more faith in that than I do with the Chameleon. Because with the Chameleon, it seems like it's just all over the place, and I just don't see new people developing new 8, 16, and 32-bit games specifically for this platform. If it happens, great, then I'll eat my words. Like, I'll just shut up and be like, okay, wow, I was wrong. But I don't know, I don't see it. And with the NG Dev team there, I'm really curious, really excited to see what they want to do with their new arcade hardware, because there's potential there. The market right now is basically being completely left alone. The last new arcade hardware that wasn't done by Taito, the Taito X3, I think, was the last big revision that was done. I might be wrong. I'm not an aficionado with all of this stuff. But what was it? There was the Poly Game Master, I think, PGM3, I think, was the last cartridge-based arcade hardware that was released. Again, if I'm wrong, correct me, it's all good. But I would love to see something like that. I would love to see a new arcade hardware, even if it's like $800 or $1,000 or whatever, it doesn't matter. It would totally be worth it if they create games that support it that are really, really strong, really awesome. But I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, what if they went the opposite direction and made it affordable? Made arcade hardware that didn't cost $1,000 or whatnot, like something where the base unit was maybe only a couple $100 and the individual games were much more realistic at $60 to $80 to even $100. I don't see that happening, only because that's not the way the arcade model has ever worked, but hey, stranger things have happened. And so I'm very, very curious to see and find out more information about what NG Dev Team is working on for their hardware. Now, they did say that they might be partnering up with, or pairing up with, a Japanese publisher in terms of getting this out there. Now, that would be very, very interesting if they go that direction, or they're going to self-publish the hardware and the software and go like that. What games are coming out for it, we have no idea. We just know that they have publicly stated now that they will not be remaking games for the Neo Geo MVS. Like, this will be it. When their next batch of reprints come out, there will be certain games that will not be reprinted. Krautbuster is one of them, and Neo, I forget how it's pronounced, I think it's Zykus or something like that, XYX, will be not reprinted. So if you haven't purchased those games or you haven't pre-ordered Krautbuster, you may want to go ahead and do that as fast as humanly possible, because prices of those games are going to skyrocket upwards afterwards because they won't be reprinted. So part of me thinks maybe those games will be reprinted on the new platform as sort of like an ultra deluxe version or something. I have no idea. We'll find out soon enough. But that's it. So I just want to talk a little bit about those two consoles, or well, those two new platforms, and sort of pick your brain. What do you guys think about that whole situation with Coleco Chameleon? Are you excited for it? What do you think? Where do you see it finding its footing in the market? Do you even think it has a chance of, if it goes to a Kickstarter, even being successful? And then what about NG Dev Team focusing in on that hardware, arcade hardware niche? What do you think about that? So go ahead, leave a comment. Let's start a good conversation going, and I'm going to try and do a couple more vlogs in the coming weeks, because it's been a while since I've done these, and I love doing these things. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's all. So leave a comment, and as always, I'll catch you all in the next video.